Okay. Well, like I said, we're back talking about his part two, the left is violent. So let's go. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if it's going to be anything different than yesterday's video or his part one. So let's do this.
It doesn't mean that you are, but it again would be reflective of the whole of the left, much more so than the right.
If that was a fact, it would support what you're saying, and not trying to say that doesn't exist. I mean, I would be skeptical if I saw something as to what you said. I think 62%. I think there's no way that 62% of people who vote left, who believe left, support violence. Have I seen instances?
So it's a recent YouGov poll. YouGov, not a conservative poll. 77% of self-identified.
You mean YouGov, right? The international internet-based market research data. Okay, hold on. I want to see what this is. Who these people are. Okay. I just want to know who these people are. That's all. Stephen Shakespeare's YouGov's chief executive officer. Alleged allegation of poll manipulation. Oh, come on, man. Oh, I'm gonna read this, and if it disproves Crowder's claim, because there's no way 62% of people that vote left support violence. What the fuck? Absolutely no way. In June 2022, former employee and then future MP Chris Curtis, who at the time worked for the competitor Opinium, said that during 2017 United Kingdom general election, a YouGov poll was suppressed by the company because it was too positive about Labour, under pressure from the conservative co-founder of YouGov, Nadim Zahawi. YouGov denied that the poll was spiked for political reasons, instead of arguing that the poll was based on a skewed sample. Former YouGov president Peter Kellner confirmed last-minute small methodology changes which transferred 2% from Labour to Conservative and increased predicted Conservative lead from 3 to 7. Wow, it's a pretty big deal. A day later, Curtis withdrew his allegations, saying that he now accepted YouGov's position that in fact the results were pulled because of concerns other members of the team had about the methodology. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just ask this. Okay? I'm going to ask this because I've never heard of YouGov. Is YouGov? It's not like Pew or anything. Okay, is YouGov legit? Okay, it's legitimate. Okay, 48,000 positive. Oh, okay, it's not bad. Okay. Hold on a second. I want to see what this is. 62% of left-leaning voters support violence. Oh, is this real? I can't find this poll. Okay, here we go. Just 6% establish a problem. 5% and 80%. Okay. 87% say it's a problem, with a majority of 59% of U.S. adults saying it's very, 28 calling it somewhat of a problem. More Republicans are more likely than Democrats to say political violence is very big problem. 67 versus 58. It's still pretty high, though. I mean, that's still pretty high. Very few people say it's not a problem. I think that's more damning. That very few people say it's not a problem. That Republicans and Democrats, for the most part, agree, and it's very close, within 10%, right? Now it's bad, right? Political violence is bad. A very big problem, somewhat of a problem. 58% Democrats, 54, 67 Republicans say, okay. I will say, this was taken on September 10th, which is literally the day that Charlie Kirk was murdered, right? So obviously Republicans would feel a little bit more inclined to say it's a bigger problem. One thing, Republicans are more likely to is a very big problem. In the wake of the reverse has been true. When YouGov asked questions after attacks of it, okay. How concerned are Americans about political violence is related to some degree to whether someone from one side or the other. Yes. So in my opinion, it's a nice poll. It's important to look at. Hey, you got a nice poll there, Chief. Ayo, no, but that's not a bad poll. Okay, however, how concerned Americans are about political violence is related to some degree to whether someone from their side or from the other side is the most recent to be attacked. So that's pretty, I feel like that would skew the results pretty significantly. So Democrats and Republicans are more likely to say political is after attacks on members of their party. Of course we are. Of course they are. Come on. This makes sense. When Paul Pelosi was attacked, Republicans didn't give a shit. They were making fun of him. They were clowning on it. They didn't care. But when Trump was, when there were the 2 assassination attempts on Trump, they were crying. They were saying it's an attack on Trump, an attack on MAGA, and it's war. But when Melissa Hortman and her husband were murdered, they didn't give a fuck. You got Crowder, as I've said, and by the way, as I make these videos, I'm going to try not to repeat the same points I've said in previous videos. But as I said before, and as Crowder said, he said that the assassination of Melissa Hortman and her husband was not politically motivated. It's a gray area. It really doesn't count. Okay, that's basically what he said. Look at the video. Look at the first video, especially, and then look at my video. Look what he said. That the attack on Melissa Hortman, it's a gray area. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. She was a sitting senator. Of course it counts. Of course it's politically motivated. Damn. Insane to me, right? So obviously, if it happens to one side or the other, whoever it happens to, they're gonna feel more strongly or less strongly. I personally, and I can say this, I think it's bad across the board. I think it's fucked up that Melissa Hortman and her husband were murdered. I think it's fucked up someone tried to kill Trump twice, or 2 people, right? And I think it's fucked up that Charlie Kirk was murdered. And I hate the fact that Paul Pelosi was attacked. I don't like that. Okay? I don't like when my politicians or people who are simply, or not politicians, who are simply just exercising free speech in the United States of America, I do not like when my people get attacked. And hey, Republicans, newsflash, because you guys aren't charitable, and you may think if you're watching this, well, I'm charitable. Well, the people who have power, who have voices like Steven Crowder, for example, are not. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Republicans, I want you to be safe. Right? You are my neighbors. You are Americans just like me. I want you to be safe. I don't want you to get killed. So I think, as a country, to turn the temperature down, because Trump won't do it. Despite him being the president, he should. He is in the most respected office in the fucking world right now. He should do it, but he won't. So how about we, Democrats and Republicans, how about we all come together and turn the temperature down together? Collectively. It's wrong when Paul Pelosi gets attacked. It's wrong when someone tries to kill Trump. It's wrong when Josh Shapiro's killed. It's wrong when Charlie Kirk's murdered. It's wrong when Melissa Hortman's murdered. It's wrong across the board. It's horrible. Now, this is an interesting one here. This is actually a pretty interesting poll, but it doesn't quite drive home what. This is my problem with Crowder and his ilk. The people on his side. Excuse me. This is my problem with Crowder, okay? And his people and people on his side like Shapiro, Ben Shapiro and Tommy Lauren and Glenn Beck and all these assholes. They'll look at a really good poll. This is actually a really good poll. I tried to discredit this. I can't. This is great. This is a good poll, okay? They'll look at this and they'll say it proves that the left is more violent. It's damning evidence. It's not. It's proof that both sides don't like it. When it happens to one side, they are way more against it than the opposing side, and vice versa, okay? Now, this is interesting when we look at age groups, okay? Older Americans have been more concerned about political violence than young adults, but concern has changed in all age groups at similar rates. Interesting. Well, I would imagine young people, me included, and hopefully most of my viewers, right? Because I figure my reach or my videos will go to people my age, right? Because no offense, boomers, I don't really identify with you. But it makes sense that older Americans, boomers, the Gen Xers, they're going to be a little more concerned because they've lived longer. They know for the most part how fragile life can be. Young people, myself included, Zoomers, Alpha, whatever, young people tend to think that they are invincible, that they cannot be hurt. I get it. You feel great. You have energy. You know, you're fresh into the world. I'm only 31. I feel great like all the time. Okay? So I get it. Young people are probably going to be less concerned than their older counterparts. Now, I don't think that's right. I think we should all be concerned together. But hey, who am I to tell someone else how to be concerned or what level they should be concerned? But it is interesting here that 65 and over, they're the most concerned. Then 45 to 64, 30, 35. I fall in the 30, 34 range. I'm up there. I would say my level of concern is pretty fucking high though, but it's because I'm talking about this stuff. It's important to me. How many Americans say violence can be justified? Part of the discourse after Kirk's death has concerned comments on social media from some left-leaning figures, including celebrating Kirk's death. Now, I said this. As soon as I found out that Charlie Kirk was murdered, and I talked about it, I went on my Substack, I went on Threads, I said to many leftist people, and I got a lot of shit for it, do not celebrate when people on their side get murdered. Do not celebrate when Americans get murdered. It's not okay. I'm not happy that Charlie Kirk is dead. But when I see leftists out there celebrating, it's like he deserved it. Fuck that guy. I'm like, really, dude? You have no class. Seriously? You're dancing on someone's grave. 2 kids just lost their father. 2 kids have no dad now. It's not funny to celebrate someone's murder. And by the way, despite me disagreeing with pretty much most of what Charlie Kirk stood for, okay, I don't think he should have been killed for it, and I don't think he was as bad as Hitler, okay? He was a media personality, okay? He's a podcaster. He went on YouTube college campuses to make YouTube content. He's basically a glorified jester, okay? With a funny hat and the bells on the shoes, right? He's a jester. That's basically what I see when I look at Tommy Lauren or Ben Shapiro or Glenn Beck. You're just glorified jesters. Rush Limbaugh, for as famous and successful and important as he was on the right, a court jester. That's literally what you guys are. Hey, I'm making videos right now. I might as well be a court jester too. This isn't real, right? The people that matter are the people who are in positions of power, or the super wealthy, or both, if it overlaps. But my thing is, do not celebrate Kirk's death. Don't justify it and say he deserved it. He was worse than Hitler. No, he wasn't. He was just a guy with a lot of clout and a big audience. Jesus Christ. Last time I checked, Americans don't murder their opponents, right? We have this thing called free speech, right? We have this idea that you can have a conversation with somebody and disagree as strongly as possibly, right? But you won't kill the person or get killed for your beliefs. That's my problem. That's my problem with Crowder not explicitly stating that the Melissa Hortman assassination was political violence or is political violence. He should say that. He's contributing to the problem. You guys should not take people like him seriously. That's my opinion. Okay? Others on the right have called such rhetoric unacceptable and have made varying claims on how prevalent such feelings are on the left. I agree. Hey, I'm on the left, right? I think it's unacceptable. I hate it. I don't want people to celebrate someone else's death. It's gross, okay? Celebrate if they lose or they get booed off campus or someone owns them on their podcast. Or I don't give a shit. Celebrate all that. It's part of the process, when you have these debates or conversations, especially in such a large public forum. But don't celebrate people's death. Come on, liberals. What's wrong with you? How the hell are you supposed to win elections if you piss off the conservatives? Not like you'll get their vote anyway, but still. How are you going to win elections when you piss off conservatives and then the moderates see what you're doing and they're like, I'm not going to vote for you. You're celebrating when people get murdered. You're fucking crazy. I'm going to vote for the right instead. YouGov's polling shows that Americans overall are far more likely to say it's always or usually unacceptable to be happy about the death of a public figure they oppose. Yeah, okay. So Americans overall, I'm glad. So 77% of Americans, according to this poll, this is what they're talking about, right? 77% say, hey, it's unacceptable. I agree. Should be 100%. But hey, I'll take it. It's not so actually this right here, this number right here, where's my mouse? This number right here, okay? This proves that the left isn't violent. We have a small group of people on the left that are fucking psychotic, okay? But it's not everybody, right? It's not. Just like when Obama was running for the first time against McCain, and that whole Tea Party movement was happening, and that just the craziness from Sarah Palin saying that there's death panels and migrant caravans and just all the crazy shit we saw in the news. I thought politics was crazy back then. Whoa, little did I know it'd get crazier in 6 years, or 8 years after Obama, right? But this actually proves Crowder wrong again. That it's only a small subsection of people in America who are a bit unhinged. I don't think it's acceptable to be happy about someone else dying. If you are happy when someone else dies, and I don't mean like someone that raped you or murdered someone you care about. I mean a podcaster, seriously. If you're happy that someone else dies, you have something wrong in your brain. There's something in here that's not working. There are wires that crossed, okay? You are clearly a disturbed individual if you genuinely take joy in someone else getting murdered. And like I said, you can be happy if your rapist gets killed, obviously, okay? I have to specify these things because there are people that will watch this and they'll assume I'm saying something if I don't explicitly say the thing. Anyway, that's the problem with this country right now. We have a small subsection. Right, this is proof. 77.8% is pretty damn good. Only a small group. Vocal, but small. It is true that liberal Americans are more likely than conservatives to defend feeling joy about the deaths of political opponents. Okay. 16% of liberals say this usually, or always include 24% of those who say their ideology is very liberal, and 10% who say that they are liberal but not very liberal. What does that even fucking mean? I'm liberal, but I'm not that liberal. What the fuck? That's so stupid. It's not this. It's not the polling. It's not their fault. I'm actually defending them a little bit. It's not their fault. I don't know what the hell that even is though. That compares to 4% of the conservatives and 7% of moderates. Okay. I mean, 60% of liberals. 16%. It's not a whole lot. I think it's too much. I don't like it. But again, hey, other liberals and moderates, don't interact with them. And don't blame all liberals for that 16%. I can't be the only liberal. I cannot be the only liberal that thought it was fucked up and gross when I saw other liberals celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I cannot be the only one who thought, like, what the fuck? Seriously, guys? This is what we are now? You're not part of my party. If I were in charge of the Democratic Party, I would do everything I can to expel that belief from my party. That is not good. A, when you want to win elections, but B, it's not how you bring people together. The Democrats, progressives, are supposed to be the party that brings people together, not pushing people away. But even among the very liberal, the share who say it's unacceptable to feel joy outnumbers those who say it's acceptable. Okay, yes. Okay, so 56 to 24%. That's okay. That's pretty damn good. I think we need to get that number down a little more. It should be like 70-30 or 80-20 or 90-10. But we can't. But unfortunately, my fellow liberals are a bit psychotic. They are. I've seen it. I saw the writing in the wall in 2010 and 2011, 2012, when the social justice warrior shit was just kind of taking off, taking off and getting popular. I saw the writing in the wall then. I knew that my fellow liberals were on the precipice of becoming a bit unhinged and a bit too soft. So I wish we can get that number. I wish we could change that number a bit. You know what I mean? That's it. Just a bit. I think all liberals across the board should condemn political violence. It's fucked up. Younger Americans are also about twice as likely as older to defend feeling joy to political. Yeah, of course they are. Because all they do is spend time on TikTok and talk shit on Twitter, and then actually go outside and have real connections. As I'm in my office right now, talking to my camera. But whatever. I'm 31. Not that young anymore. Most Americans say it's unacceptable to be happy about public figures' deaths, but younger and more liberal Americans are most likely to call it acceptable. Always or usually unacceptable. So U.S. adults, 77 to 8. That's important. Very liberal. So here's what I want to say, okay? Here's what I want to say. Because Crowder's being a bit disingenuous with his statistics, okay? When you look at the political ideology, and you have to look at, you can't just cherry pick. You cannot cherry pick statistics. When you look at these fucking numbers here, okay? You have to take into account everything, not just very liberal. Oh my God, very liberal accounts for the entire population. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. These super liberals, out of the super, very, very liberal, right? 56% of them still say, hey, it's wrong. Now, I'm not sure what the fuck is going on with that 20%. Come on, guys. If you're part of that 20%, get your head checked. Make a fucking decision. Seriously, holy shit. Now, liberal, 73 to 10. It shoots down drastically. That's actually huge right there. Most liberals, like I would imagine this is just like a regular liberal, not super far left progressive, very liberal, but like regular, like, you know, what's the word? Like regular, just middle of the road, not moderate, but middle of the road, just casual liberal. 73% of them say it's always or usually unacceptable. That's pretty damn good. 17%. I don't know how the fuck you can't make a decision at that point, but whatever. Now we get to the moderates. The moderates are my kin. I feel like they're my kin. 80 to 7%, with that 13 undecided. I don't know what the fuck is hard to make it to decide between here. Pick a lane, okay? But 80 is pretty damn good. And the conservative, 91 to 4, okay. 90 to 7. Or sorry, 92. That's not even listed there. Wow, okay, that number. Okay, well, hey, not bad. Not surprised that the old people typically say it's more unacceptable, and the young people are like foaming at the mouths, wanting violence because they're angry and they're scared and they don't have enough life experience to believe that they will endure through a tough economic and political time. That's what that is. That is anger and stress and anxiety in a bad economy, and a lot of social media poisoning what they think reality should be, or what they think reality, what they think reality should be. That's what that is. Okay, liberals. Older liberals, 56, 22%. We are that's pretty close up there, actually. So that actually is interesting. The 18 to 44-year-olds, we're just talking about 18 to 44, that whole range is pretty much coincides with if you're very liberal. That's what we're talking about here. 45 and older, significant change. Moderates are doing pretty good. Conservatives, okay. There's that 6%. Again, what's with these fucking undecideds, though? Okay. Well, I'm not surprised, though, because liberals are a bit emotional. They are a bit emotional. I'm not surprised that they tend to agree with it more if it's somebody that they don't like. But for the most part, what I can see is it's the very liberal ones and the young ones. Us regular liberals, or I'm more of a moderate. Let's be real here. Us like regular liberals or moderates or like centrist or whatever you want to call it, right? I'm not all one way, but I'm not all the other. I pick and choose. I like some conservative policies, but I like some progressive ones as well. I would say that the normal people, the sweet spot is that moderate 80 to 7%. All right. Anyway, let's continue. But again, before we continue, this doesn't really, again, support Crowder's claims at all. It doesn't really prove that the left is more violent. It just says very, very, very liberal people, young ones, are usually more tolerant of political violence. I don't think it's right, but it doesn't really prove anything, especially when the numbers still to this day prove that most of the actual violence, the real violence, comes from the far right. Again, I'm not going to keep repeating that point, but it is important to make that distinction. Where are we? Here we go.
Identified conservatives said political violence is unacceptable always. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Only 77?
77. Only 38% of leftists. 62% answered somewhat to completely acceptable. Mm-hmm. Some answered I don't know. And then there was another snap poll before that had, at a ratio of 6 to 1, self-identified liberals supporting political violence in comparison to conservatives. It doesn't mean you or all, but if we're comparing those demographics, it is stark, it is consistent. I could point you to another one after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Over 60% of the left said it is somewhat to completely acceptable.
I mean, again, I'd love to, see these polls, and if those are representative, I totally agree with you. I don't think it's okay to support political violence. I'm honestly a little shocked at how low the conservative, only 77.
I think, again, the details do matter. The details matter. Very liberal and the age group. So that's where we see it most. It's the 18 to 29. It's not the 30 to 44, and I'll tell you why. 30 to 44, you're in your career. You might have a kid or two. You're married. You don't have time to get caught up in anger and outrage. You don't have that. You don't. But when you're 18 to 29, what are you doing? You're graduating high school. You're in college. You're just starting your career, or you're working a series of jobs and you're still going through school, or you're in the military. You're starting off in that. I'm telling you, 30 to 44, These are career people. They have jobs. They have families. They have priorities. They don't have time to get caught up in accepting political lines because they have things to lose. People that don't have a lot to lose or don't have a direction in their life are typically more violent. And I will agree that liberals, when they don't have a direction, they're emotional, they're whiny, they don't feel any purpose. And I can see them getting caught up in this. Well, hey, it's acceptable as long as it's someone I don't like. I mean, it is interesting here, the difference between conservatives and liberals. I'll give them credit, but it's not the left. It's 18 to 29, super liberal. Like we're like really far left. So that's not right. That's not all of us. Unfortunately, that does seem to be the most vocal of us, and I wish the Democrats would get their heads out of their asses and start expelling some of these people from the party. Do not give platforms to sitting politicians who echo some of those far left sentiments. Do not. All it does is damage the entire party, piss off the moderates, and make the conservatives hate us even more. And I don't want to hate my neighbor. I don't want them hating me. What the fuck, you know?
I would have think it'd be like 99%.
Yeah, you think it'd be 99% of the left according to your premise, right? But it's 38.
Well, that is what I would think, and it's not been my experience that most people who are on the left who support political violence. I will say, and this has troubled me, is I have seen members of the left support, for example, Hamas. I have seen members of the left not condemn Charlie Kirk assassination, or who have spoken out as being happy about it.
He's being. I don't want to talk about Hamas right now. What the fuck? I hate that this kid brought that up. Focus on the topics, okay? If you're gonna sit down with a guy like Crowder, by the way, he's not that smart, okay? He's not. But if you're gonna sit down with him, don't give him ammunition. Don't give him ammunition to kick your ass. Don't do that. Come on. U.S. adults, 59. So this is people. Most Americans say political violence is a very big problem or somewhat of a problem. So hey, I'm going to give credit. 58, 32. That's a lot. So 50% of Democrats think it's a very big problem, and 32 think it's somewhat of a problem. It's still a problem. That's pretty damn good. You can't ignore that. And I'll give credit. Hey, Republicans, 67% of you say it's a very big problem, and 22% say it's somewhat of a problem. You can still recognize that it's a problem. I think that's impressive. I will say that the discrepancies I see here is that the 18-29 again. They're a little bit more, like only half think it's a big problem. 28 think it's somewhat. 16 can't even fucking make a decision. And then there's that small, not very much of a problem. Seriously, whatever. These are the outliers, or what I will call them is the idiots. They're the idiots. This light purple and the dark purple. Massive outliers, idiots. Okay.
I just don't think that is a majority of the population. I would be very curious to see these polls, but that's not been my experience. And
so someone, can we have the QR, because we actually have a QR code so you can see all the sources.
That'd be great.
Yeah, great. They should have had that.
Hold on. I'm gonna QR right now. I'm gonna see if it takes me to the actual one because I'm curious. I wish you would put the poll on the actual screen. Where's the YouGov one? Who organizes this shit, dude? Oh my god, man. I'm looking at his QR code right now, and it's like, here we go. Always unacceptable. 77, 38, 44%. Some say, okay, come on. He's picking ones that, like, he's cherry picking the numbers here. Like, come on, man. I'm not surprised because that's all Crowder can do. Crowder doesn't know how to live in reality or nuance. Crowder doesn't understand that his warped brain can only process things that I would say like maybe a baby bird can process. He doesn't really have the mental faculty to really dive into the numbers and actually analyze them. I realize it. Analyzing statistics is boring. It sucks. You think I'm having fun right now? I am a little bit, just a bit. But still, okay? But you do have to do the due diligence if you're going to make claims. Ridiculous like ones like the left is violent. Always unacceptable, okay? Republicans, he got most Americans say unacceptable. Okay, so always unacceptable. 77% Republicans. Okay, here we go. Democrats say it's 56%. These numbers are wrong here. He says YouGov asks if it is acceptable to be happy about the death. Okay, I'm reading. It's the same one. Always unacceptable. Bullet point. Next one. Republicans 77%. I see conservative 91 and 90. So he's misrepresenting that one, right? Well, why is he doing this? And then right, okay, 44% of them say sometimes acceptable. Where's the 44%? Okay, I mean that's not really true though. Very liberal and liberal, so 24 and 10, so that's 34%. You can't include. Oh, is he doing what I think he's doing? Oh no, Mamacita, please do not do that. Is he adding the 24 and the 20 to make 44% of them say sometimes it's acceptable? You can't do that when the 20% is not sure. Okay, if he's doing that, then that's horseshit. I'm not surprised though, because Crowder is literally full of shit and a liar.
Earlier.
I can look at this later. I mean, we're just here.
No, but I want to give it to you so you can access it. And by the way, I do think, just to be clear, I think that your heart is in the right place, and I think you're honest in that this is your perspective because you probably think it's abhorrent, as I do, political violence.
Right.
And here's why we're having this conversation. Okay. For example, see, we have bulletproof glass and basically a small platoon here.
Yeah, it's scary.
Small platoon. Give me a fucking break. I'm so sick of civilians. Oh, I got a small platoon here. Dude, you hired a couple of retirees who don't know what to do with their retirement, like law enforcement officers who don't know what to do with their retirement. Pay them a couple $100 to hang out with their fanny packs, their Oakleys, and their veterans T-shirts. I'm sorry, it's not a small platoon, okay? I mean, come on, dude. And also, you can't sit here and say, "Oh, your heart's in the right place," when you're literally misrepresenting your own poll. Like, you brought this to give you ammunition, and I'm looking on your website with the QR code, and you can't even add the numbers correctly. Like, you're lying. Democrats 44% of them say sometimes acceptable. I see 24 say it's usually or always acceptable, and I see 20 that are not sure. Where's the 44%? Unless you're adding those two numbers, or you're maybe adding the very liberal and liberal. That's still not 44. It's only 34. I mean, come on, gabagool. You know what the fuck?
I can imagine it is. But before this last event, people would have argued it's unnecessary. And we've had to take increasing security measures. I can tell you that the reason I stopped doing this for years is because every single time, there was some serious violent action carried out. There were rocks thrown, concrete.
I want to say something. I watched
milkshakes, people trying to slash tires, Molotov cocktails, and no one would listen. There's a reason that Charlie Kirk had security before he was assassinated, right? There are a lot of close calls, and you saw the one that got through. And the rhetoric was always, "You're fine. You're fine," until you shed blood.
Look, I completely agree. I mean, there's definitely extreme political violence. I've seen it happen. The whole country just saw it happen. I just think
but can I just finish that one point?
That the entire left is violent.
No, the left is violent as an ideology and as a majority.
It's not.
Which you'll see.
Look, okay, I said in my last video that I was mad at this young man right here. I was angry at him. I was mad because he wasn't doing a good enough job pushing back. But he did. He just did it. I don't care. Crowder can say whatever the fuck he wants. Crowder can say whatever he wants. He can jump over the table and literally shit on top of this young man. He could poop on him in front of everybody, and this young man would still win the debate. The fact that he pushed back and said, "Look, I get it. It's wrong. We've seen it. I don't like it." But to put this table out and to say it's the entire left, I mean, come on. Crowder can't even let him finish. Crowder knew, oh shit, he's going to catch me. He's going to catch my point. He's going to, oh God, I got to stop him. I got to interrupt him. And that's what they do. That's what they fucking do. I want to play this. Oh God, I want to play this.
70%. I would have think it'd be like 99%.
Yeah, you think it'd be 99% in this conversation, okay? For example, finish that one point.
That the entire left is violent.
No, the left is violent as an ideology and as a in this conversation, okay? For example,
oh no, please.
Your perspective because you probably think it's abhorrent, as I do, political violence.
Right.
And here's why we're having this conversation, okay? For example, see, we have bulletproof glass and basically a small platoon here.
Yeah, it's scary.
I can imagine it is.
Yeah, it's scary.
But before this last event, people would have argued it's unnecessary. And we've had to take increasing security measures. I can tell you that the reason I stopped doing this for years is because every single time, there was some serious...
This is the guy that will have the Louder with Crowder show, and he has a fucking gun, a handgun. Well, I've watched his content for a long time. he used to plug this one weapon, the Walter PPQ. Great firearm, okay? On his desk the whole time. You can see it in view, okay? So you're not just arming up recently. It's not just because of Charlie Kirk. You've always been about this. You love your little army and the off-duty retirees that you've paid to help protect you. You love the violence. This is exactly what conservatives love. They love guns. They love armies. They love the military so much, but most of them are too pussy to even enlist. I mean, come on. All right, let's keep on.
Violent action carried out. There were rocks thrown, concrete milkshakes, people trying to slash tires, Molotov cocktails, and no one would listen. There's a reason that Charlie Kirk had security before he was assassinated, right? There are a lot of close calls, and you saw the one that got through.
I'm eating that shit.
And the rhetoric was always, "You're fine, you're fine," until you you shed blood.
Look,
What about I'm gonna do a whataboutism, and I don't care. Shameless, just like Crowder, okay? No, I'm kidding. No, but seriously though, what about all the times that conservatives protested like funerals, or stood outside of Planned Parenthood with signs and threw things at people, or bombed clinics? I'm serious. Like, what about all that violence? What about all the police brutality? You're kidding me? You're upset because of a few milkshakes? Seriously? What about all the violence that you laughed at? What about all the times that there was a black person murdered by a cop, and Crowder, Matt Walsh, and Shapiro all couldn't wait, but just to fucking bust some sweet content out for it and make fun of them and disparage them and say they were criminals and drag their names through the mud? You're kidding me, right? This guy's a joke. He's a joke.
Completely agree. I mean, there's definitely extreme political violence. I've seen it happen. The whole country just saw it happen. I just think
But can I just finish that one point?
That the entire left is violent.
No, the left is violent as an ideology.
He's like, can I finish this point? And he won't let him finish his point. The whole point of this is to have a conversation. Let the guy talk. This is your event. You've run this for so many years now. Let him talk. He's your guest. He has a point. Oh, can I finish it? Before you disprove me and discredit me in front of my millions of little cuck subscribers. I'm only subscribed for research purposes, by the way, so do not lump me in with them. But before I fall apart in front of my little cucks on the right who support and subscribe to me, can I just interrupt you as you are about to crush my entire fucking premise in one simple phrase?
And as a majority, which you'll see with the stats that I present to you. But here's the thing, and this is a genuine concern. There's no off-ramp here. Let me explain to you what I mean. I think we both want to avoid any type of civil war or serious conflict.
Oh my God, the civil war.
Right, we both do.
I don't think we're close to that.
I'll tell you why I think it could be in the cards within the next decade. Okay?
Guys, they want a civil war. They're so horny for war. Crowder is just like, I don't want to get gross. I want to keep this not gross. I'm going to backtrack. I don't want to be gross. But I will say this. Crowder is so horny for civil war. Conservatives love war, but they won't even enlist. Okay? 1% of the population enlists in the military, right? Where are all these conservatives who are so horny for war? Why aren't you guys at your enlistment offices? And I know we had some recent increases in recruitment numbers, but it's not enough to outweigh that 1% of the population figure. It's not. They're not a lot. Trust me. It's a really small pool. So if all you guys are so horny for war, why don't you go enlist and do infantry and go fucking deploy? What you should do, if you're saying the left is violent, then you should be trying to contribute to turning down the overall temperature. Not saying, here's why I think civil war's in the cards. What's going to happen, huh? By the way, is Crowder even American? Are you Canadian? So if you go to war, you have a house in Canada. Oh, sorry, if we go to war here, you have a house in Canada, right? I'm pretty sure he's Canadian. If I'm not mistaken, hold on a second. Is Steven Crowder Canadian? Oh, hold on a second. Wait, why? Who's asking, is Stephen Miller a Jew? Huh. Is Steven Crowder Canadian? Huh. Yes. Okay, so he lived in Quebec for his whole childhood. Okay. So when you, so he obviously has dual citizenship. So when you, Mr. America First, get these immigrants out of here as you're a fucking immigrant or dual citizen from Canada, when you are sitting here and hoping for civil war, what's going to happen? Are you going to fight? You pretend that you stopped the Change My Mind series because of violence, but you stopped because you had heart issues. I remember watching a video where he was crying about his poor little heart, and he was like on his show with a fucking wrist wrap on. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You really want civil war, Crowder? You can't walk 5 feet without these retiree LEO losers wiping your ass. You're kidding me, right? Civil war? You're going to be in Canada hoping to God nobody fucking comes after you. You're a joke. This is what I mean. Conservatives, what you should be doing, if you want to prove that the left is violent, then you should be trying to turn down the temperature, because right now, if you do that, you will look way better than the liberals, because the liberals are too busy celebrating about Charlie Kirk, calling everyone a Nazi. I agree. I admit there's some craziness on the left. I've already talked about that with the YouGov poll. Okay, so if you want to prove that the left is violent, then you should contribute to turning down the temperature. Don't say here's why it's in the cards for the next decade. Are you going to fight, Crowder? Are you going to do that? Or are you just going to run away? Because that's what you guys do. If you guys are so horny for war, then go to your enlistment office. Fucking fight.
And I've not said this before these last 2 years. There was only one off-ramp when the left, a member of the left, assassinated Charlie Kirk in cold blood in the name of political leftism, of radical trans ideology leftism, right? Justified it through Charlie Kirk being hateful, which he's not.
This is all you have to do, guys. Was Charlie Kirk an assassin on the left? On your left. Okay, well, I don't want to believe J.D. Vance. No offense. I want to look at the bare facts. Okay, I want to look at the bare facts and the motive. Okay, because by the way, the killer came from an ultra conservative family, right? He was 22 when he killed Charlie Kirk. So my guess is he had 18 years of conservative radicalization and what? 4 years of college? Was he even in college for 4 years? I want to know the motive. Okay. Evidence and leads, accused. Yeah. Oh my God, he's from oh my God, he's a Mormon. How do you call him left when he's a fucking Mormon? You can't call him left. I don't even think it's acceptable to call him on the right. But this is an example of a far right family, far right person, a Mormon church member. You're kidding me, right? Yeah, most famous Robinson, she didn't know a single. Yeah, childhood photos show the Robinson family shoot guns and see. Wow. So the whole childhood of shooting guns and seeing weapons displays and being a Republican and attending the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you're telling me none of that had an impact on his radicalization? It's just the left. I mean, you gotta be shitting me, right? You gotta be shitting me. I mean, it's obvious that it's not just the left. Holy shit. Yikes. Here's what this kid is. It's not left or right. He's this angry incel who hangs out in Discord all day talking shit about how the world sucks and how everyone's out to get him. I mean, that's all this is. It's just young, angry white men. And they're always, by the way, like more often than not, from conservative families. Governor Cox of the Roberts had very different political views than those of his conservative and here to the left. Oh my God. Why is the governor speaking out on behalf of him? What about his family? Oh, his family did turn him in. That's cool. That's pretty fucking based. This is insane. He became increasingly concerned about gay and trans rights. I just want to say something. Being concerned about gay or trans rights doesn't mean you're gonna pick up a gun and murder somebody. I love my gay neighbors. I want them to have the same rights as I do. Now, I will say this for the fucking record, okay, before we get back to the video. I will say this, though. I don't think gays should be able to force a church to marry them. If you want to get married, then do it in a state courthouse. Do it in a state facility. Churches are private. They're not part of the state. So I don't get mad when churches are like, I don't want to do that shit here. Or a business doesn't want to make a cake. You know, that whole cake fiasco. I don't care about that. give gays the same legal rights as I do. I can get legally married in a state facility, but I'm an atheist. So if I go to a church and they're like, sorry, I can't marry you because you're not, you don't believe in what I want or whatever. I don't agree with how you live. Fuck it. That's their prerogative. I can't fight that. They're not like taking away my rights. My rights aren't granted from the church. It's granted from the state and federal as well. But still, yeah, they're gonna blame it on the transgender thing. Yeah, I heard about that. I had enough of this hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Yikes. Here's the thing, man. You have to wonder. Here's what you have to ask. If you want to talk about left versus right, you have to ask why. This kid that had, let's say, 18 years of living as a Mormon in a Mormon family with a far-right parents and far-right community, why did he crack and snap? Are you going to blame trans or leftist ideologies? Seriously? He was maybe exposed to that for 2-3 years, 4 tops maybe. But he had 18 years of living with ultra-religious and conservative parents. At some point, you have to hold the parents accountable. You have to. You can't blame video games or movies or sex and violence on TV. Blame the fucking parents. What kind of household was that where he felt the need, that he felt so cut off and so angry at the world that he had to pick up a gun and shoot somebody? Why are we not blaming the fucking parents here? I am so sick of the parents being martyrs and crying on TV and getting interviews. Hello? Where were you? Why is your child a psychopath? Where the fuck were you? I'm serious. If my kid someday in the future, I don't have kids right now, but if my kid does shit like that, I'm snitching on their motherfucking ass. You kidding me? I'm snitching on them. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Because at least I have the balls to admit, hey, something got fucked up here. I'm not defending this motherfucker. I'm not. These parents, now I will say they did turn them in. However, we do need to ask, when all these shooters, all these things happen, these young shooters especially, school shooters, church shooters, whatever, why aren't we looking at the parents? Their upbringing, their home life. That always affects people when they grow up. It always does.
Him being prejudiced, which he's not. The only off-ramp would have been if the leadership on the left, and if the majority of the left said, hey, look, this has gone too far. We've labeled these people fascists, Nazis, racists, genocidists because of their trans policy.
Talk about replacement theory, and you celebrate when ICE raids an apartment and puts a toddler in zip ties. When you laugh and agree and celebrate fascism, I'm gonna call you a fascist. I am. It's not too far when you are happy that ICE is abducting Americans or deporting people that they deem as gang members, and then when the facts come out and it's proven that they're not members of a gang, you still support them being deported. What the fuck? When you laugh and you celebrate and you cheer at fascist things, I'm going to call you a fascist, 100%.
Policy, and my God, some people out there are actually believing it. We're sorry, let's tone it down. Instead, there was a very surprising, gleeful celebration thereafter. And you can say not all the left, but every single vigil, every single memorial, every single mural that was put up was desecrated, spit on. There were assaults from the left. When people on our side, and by that I mean conservative Christian America by and large, have one of ours attacked, and then they pursue our spaces to honor the dead and celebrate, that tells us, oh, there are too many.
So you think because of this, you think we're trending towards some kind of civil war, civil conflict?
I can tell you that.
We're not. You better hope we're not. I'm telling you, everybody out there that's horny for war right now, it's bad for everyone. Everyone. There's no more jobs. There's no more shopping at the supermarket. There's no more taking your kid to school. You're going outside and there's a fucking war going on? Are you kidding me? Resources are already scarce. You better hope we don't go to war, because everybody's fucked. I don't care how armed to the teeth you are, Proud Boys, or these fucking psychotic little incel militia groups. You're all screwed too. Everyone's cooked. It's bad news if civil war happens, okay? Bad. And a guy like Crowder, Mr. Tough Talk, oh, yeah, we're going to head to civil war. These leftists are violent, blah, blah, blah. He'll be hiding in his basement in Canada because he's a big fat pussy.
This have a pretty large sample size, and this would be anecdotal in addition to the empirical. Since COVID, I would say that's number 2. I never saw more people change their political persuasion outside of COVID in my lifetime. People who were self-identified liberals who couldn't send their kids to school, right? They thought, okay, it's going too far. I've never had more people reach out and say, I was so shocked at the celebration and justification, the assassination of Charlie Kirk from who I thought were moderate liberal friends, that I've had to delete them from social media. I can't be included amongst them. There's an
okay. Obviously, I've condemned these assholes. It's stupid. It's not. It's psychotic. The Democrat. If I were in charge of the Democratic Party, what I would do is I would kick out every motherfucker who was involved with celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Exile them all from the party. Goodbye. You're done. You're done forever. Go work somewhere else. Okay? You're not part of this anymore. That's all I'd say. That's all you can say. Violence is wrong. Okay? It's evil. But you guys do it too. Like, your side does it too. You guys were making jokes about Paul Pelosi when he got, attacked in his home. You guys couldn't even acknowledge that Melissa Hortman was murdered, that it was a politically motivated assassination, right? You guys don't care when it happens to us. You pretend that you do, but you don't give a shit. You honestly don't even pretend that well. I mean, I can call it out right now. It's easy. And if I can see it, there's no way I'm the only one that can. You're a joke, Crowder. I mean, I can't even. Here's the problem here. I really wanted to make it through this whole video, but I can't. What I've realized is that 10 minutes in, 14 minutes in, just like my last two videos, I can't even make it more than 5 minutes without completely ripping him apart. Because he makes it, A, so easy, because he doesn't live in reality, and B, he doesn't want to be charitable. He doesn't want to create bridges. He wants a conversation on the campus because it'll get him 802,000 views in 2 days. But he doesn't want middle ground. He doesn't want friendships and bipartisanship. He doesn't want that. He wants war. He wants what will make him money. And that is what is disgusting about this whole political climate we have. And not just political climate, but like content creation in general. It's gross. Crowder, you can't even cite YouGov correctly. I kicked your ass in your own fucking poll. Now, it's not his company. I'm saying he's using it for his agenda. I'm kicking his ass with his own poll, his own evidence. It's gross to me. It's disgusting. I don't know if I can make it this whole video because like I'm looking at this and this guy doesn't even want to be charitable. The guy on the right's like, hey man, like I know it's wrong, but how can you come here and say that the left is violent on this table? And Crowder couldn't even let him finish. Like, oh bro, you can't even let him finish. And then Crowder, of course, has to go with the whole like, well, Christians are under attack. I'm sorry. When was the last time atheists had a fucking crusade and murdered thousands of people because they didn't convert? I'm sorry. When was the last time an atheist killed somebody because the person went and denounced that God exists? Atheists don't kill anybody. What the fuck? But Christians, man, woo, boy, Christians had a whole crusade. They'd stab you in the fucking chest with a sword if you didn't convert and believe in their God. Give me a fucking break. I'm sorry. Didn't the church imprison Galileo because he disproved their claims about the world with science? I'm pretty sure they put him in prison or house arrest, right? Hold on. Did the church imprison Galileo? Okay, I know they did. Why did the church persecute Galileo? Did they imprison him? What did they do? Galileo Galilei, an Italian astronomer, posited the Earth revolves around the sun. The view contradicted a long-held geocentric model which placed the Earth at the center of the universe and supported the church at the time. Yeah, they put him on trial, bro. Oh my god. Trial and condemnation. Yeah, he was found vehemently suspected of heresy for advocating heliocentrism and was sentenced to house arrest for the remainder of his life. His works were banned and permitted for teaching, discussing heliocentrism. Wow. Yeah, I want to hear how Christians are persecuted. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Crowder. I know you Christians are so persecuted. Us atheists and leftists are murdering you every day. We're not. We're fucking not. Crusades. You fucking imprisoned Galileo. Get the fuck out of here. What a joke. You are a joke, Crowder. And I will keep making these videos until one of you responds to me. I'll go on any of your shows. I don't care. The other day, I put a Threads post for Tommy Lauren. I said to go on her fucking show. Because she literally said on her broadcast that Bad Bunny wasn't a citizen. Right? Hold on. I want to show you this. I'm not making this up. Tommy Lauren, Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. Here we go. Yeah, own comment section slants or hot take. Whoa. Well, like, what a joke. These people are crazy. They're unhinged. I'm not that knowledgeable about him, but he seems fine. Oh, yeah, the other guest said that. Lauren, 33, interjected that Bad Bunny, a Puerto Rican musician, was not an American artist. He's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, I remember a time when Tommy Lauren was like the fucking poster child for the Blaze and like far right media personalities, and she was everywhere. And then when she went in The View and she defended a woman's right to choose, ooh, they fucking stuck it to her. The Republicans burned her. She was like MIA for a while. Now she has her own show because she's kissing their ass again, and she sold what was left of her shriveled up old soul back to them. But I just think it's kind of funny that yo, Tommy, hey, Tommy, Lauren, Puerto Rico's part of America. Look at a fucking map, you ignorant loser. Oh, these people.
Exodus taking place because of the reaction. And you can't point me to an example like that on the right. It doesn't exist.
Look, I mean, you're making good points. I don't see how this is leading to civil war, but I totally agree with what you're saying. I've seen people have the exact reaction that...
I'm so sick of this, man. You know, maybe the right has a point. Maybe the people on the left are fucking pussies, because this guy, look, I'll give him his credit. He showed up, he sat down, had a conversation, but he's not pushing back at all. Not the slightest. You're making good points. He's lying to you. He's misrepresenting his own statistics. He says that the left is violent, even though all the numbers suggest, and not just suggest, they explicitly say the right is responsible for more of the political violence, including police brutality, by the way. That counts. He gave you a definition that wasn't a definition. It was a description of a project run by The Economist, which is a conservative publication, okay? I mean, come on, dude. Have some balls. Have some balls. My dear leftists, my dear liberals, I'm gonna pray, and I'm an atheist. Please have some balls. Fight back. Not with violence. With your ideas. With rhetoric. Have debates. Push back when people lie to you, or they misrepresent, or they say just complete out falsehoods. Just push back a bit. Have some fucking balls. It's not that hard. Nothing's gonna happen to you. They might hurl insults or call you un-American or woke. But who gives a shit? They can't even live in our reality. So who cares what their assessment of you is? Holy shit, have some fucking balls.
You're discussing. I think it's wrong. In my experience from anecdotal evidence, that's why I'm curious to see the empirical studies, I don't think that represents a majority of the left. The instance you're talking about memorials being desecrated,
Then you've seen it, right?
I've seen it, but...
1 second, I hear noise in my house. Oh my god, the conservatives are coming to get me! No, I'm kidding. Hold on a second.
This isn't coming from, like, the Democratic leaders. Like, this isn't coming from the majority of...
Sure it is.
I wouldn't say... you're saying Democratic leaders?
Yeah, let me explain to you. Charlie Kirk was killed because people actually believed that he was a fascist. And Gavin Newsom just said it about the Republican Party and Stephen Miller not more than 24 hours ago.
So you would blame the leaders for saying these things?
I would say they're responsible. If they are going to say that Donald Trump's...
I don't think Charlie Kirk was a fascist. I think Charlie Kirk was a guy that liked having a big audience and liked making a lot of money and liked going on podcasts and getting paid for appearances. He was famous. He was a celebrity. Okay, he was. He was a guy that liked having a following. It fed his ego. He felt popular, important, connected. He wasn't a fascist. He was a performer. Okay? But Stephen Miller, on the other hand, when you're quoting Goebbels, you're saying half the country doesn't build anything. They don't do anything, that we're nothing. Okay, you're a fucking fascist. You're like, what? What are you, 40 years old? You look like you're 60, dude. What the fuck's wrong with you? You are a fucking fascist. Not Charlie Kirk, though. I disagree. I know a lot of leftists will be like, oh, could you? You're not one of us. Well, fuck you. You're not one of us. You're not a leftist. Charlie Kirk was not a fascist. He was a performer. Stephen Miller, on the other hand, oh yeah, that guy's a fascist.
rhetoric is responsible for Black Lives Matter, which preceded him by 2 to 3 years under Barack Obama, I certainly would say the ongoing rhetoric from the left that Republicans and Donald Trump are racist, that they are fascist, comparing them to Nazis, Hitler, that they are genocidists because they don't believe that children should I think that rhetoric, because let me ask you this, the people who've committed this violence, for example, right here at ICE, Charlie Kirk, right, Antifa, this man you just saw, they believe that Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump are fascists. If that's true, how do you deal with fascists? If half the country believes that we're fascists, how do you deal with fascists?
Okay, you vote them out. I mean, it's not that hard. By the way, Crowder, you're not a fascist. You're a performer too. You're just a glorified performer, and you don't even do it that well. You don't live in reality, so you can't use real facts. You cherry pick something that says, oh, okay, this says kind of what I'm looking for. Maybe I'll spin it to fit my thing. You spin. You're just a spinner, man. You're like Rush Limbaugh. I mean, that's where he got it from. You guys are all like him. You spin everything to fit your narrative. Okay. You're not a fascist. You're a loser and a liar and a performer. Now, Trump is a fascist, in my opinion. I think he is. I think Kristi Noem is a fascist. I think ICE as an institution is being pretty fascistic right now because they're going after people without any real due process. I think it's fascism to have a Senator Padilla, get tackled when he's just asking Kristi Noem a question at a public press conference. That's fascism. That's fascism. Fascism is zip tying a little toddler in Chicago and raiding an apartment building with no fucking cause. How many citizens do you think were there? I'm just. If this is about getting illegals out, why are you putting babies in zip ties? I'm confused here. What is happening? How does that make you feel like you're American? That's what the Nazis did. Rounding people up. That's exactly what the Nazis did. So yes, Crowder, I will call all of you Nazis to your fucking faces. But I'm not going to give you the credit because you're not a Nazi, you're not a fascist, you're just a loser who lies on YouTube. And there are plenty of not to discredit YouTube, but there are plenty of motherfuckers on this platform that lie. Plenty of losers on here with millions of subscribers that lie through their fucking teeth. So yeah, you don't earn the fascist card. You actually have to make a discernible difference, negative albeit, but still a difference to be a fascist. You're just an asshole with a microphone and 5 million subscribers. You're not the problem. What we have to do with the actual fascists in power is vote. Go out to the polls and vote them out. Or call them, clash with their ideas, publicly call them out on Twitter, email them, debate them, contact their people and challenge them. Make them do evil in public. Oh shit, I gotta take a phone call. Hold on 1 second. Maybe I should stream, but I honestly don't really want to do that. But all right. Okay. Anyways, I gotta take a phone call. I'm not gonna give Crowder the credit or what is the word for it? I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction of being called. I think these guys like it. I think these guys like being called fascist because then they can say, "Look what the left is doing. They're gonna kill us. That's what they do to fascists. They're murderers." No. You don't get that. You don't get to be called a fascist because you're just a loser who performs on YouTube. And like I said before, I took this call. There are plenty of people on this platform, large creators and small creators, that are just losers with bad opinions and who perform. You're just all jesters, okay? There's the real fascists are the ones in power, and you have to vote them out. You have to vote them out. And by the way, Democrats, right? Chuck Schumer, specifically, or Elizabeth Warren, because all you guys do is posture on threads. I see a lot of puffing chest out, right? And a lot of flexing. Do some work in the chambers. Do some real work. I don't give a shit about political posturing on social media. Do some actual work. It's your job. Show me that you actually care about this democratic republic that we live under, right? Show me that you deserve that position. Because right now, I see a lot of posturing and a lot of tweets and blah, 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 we have the Republicans are doing this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what am I supposed to do about it? I'm one citizen. I'm not a politician. That's your fucking job to wake up and actually put some work in.
Let me
you can't do it at the ballot box.
Let me break this down one at a time because that was a lot.
Okay.
First thing, I think you can't 100% blame people for the things that they say, inciting violence. People have their own agency and their own decision making.
No, they campaign on them. It's the DNC campaign platform. It's fascism, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Gavin Newsom. You can't name one. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. Fascism, comparisons to Hitler. They say that we want to oppress blacks.
Gavin Newsom didn't campaign for the recent presidency, if I'm not mistaken, right? Did Gavin Newsom? Did he campaign? Campaign manager wife. Whoop. Drama. I'm not a big fan of him. He got cheated on his wife. Fuck him, right? He sucks. I'm not a fan of that. Sorry, Gavin, but you're an asshole for that. Can't keep your fucking dick in your pants. Jesus Christ. Campaign over. Okay, well, what I'm saying is this, okay? I don't know if the whole platform is on fascism, but when your president is talking about jailing political opponents or journalists or shooting Hillary Clinton in the street, as Trump famously said years ago, or talking about increasing ICE raids and deporting people and making America great, fear campaigns designed to drive people out of this country, I think it's fair to run a campaign and say, hey, this guy's kind of a fascist. When what you should be doing as a president is trying to get people who are coming here to this country properly acclimated, get them a social security number, get them a job, get them connected so they can contribute and make our economy even more great than it already is. That's what you want. You don't want to put the walls up and say, fuck the rest of the world, only Americans can be here. And their definition is only white Americans. And I'm not making that up. You can quite literally go to Chicago right now or last night when they raided a fucking apartment building and put a kid in zip ties. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. Yes, you're goddamn right you can campaign on hey, they're doing fascist shit. When you guys are actually doing fascist shit, okay?
They say we want to erase trans people.
100% you want to.
I've seen it happen. It happens occasionally. I don't think the majority of Democratic leaders say this or believe this. And even some of the ones who do maybe not believe it. But if we're just talking about rhetoric,
but what if they all do? What if they all do?
If we're talking about rhetoric being dangerous,
I will say this: this is. I'm starting to like this format of these videos. I really like this. The trans thing is pretty simple to me. Okay, I don't think trans people should be able to compete in competitive sports like trans women competing in sports against biological women, like at a high school level. When you have scholarships and scouts involved, and it's real competition that can set you up for college or professional sports, keep them separated. Okay, we don't let boys or men perform in compete against women in competitive sports or the Olympics or like a professional sport. We don't do that for a very specific fucking reason. So we should not let trans women do that either. Now, however, I don't care about youth sports. I don't even care about middle school, dude. Or non-competitive sports. I don't necessarily mind. But when you got scholarships on the line, records, scouts, slots in college, no, separate them. Fuck yeah, separate them. Are you kidding me? There's no reason a man should transition and absolutely demolish a swim record and ruin a collegiate girl's career. That's fucked up. Are you kidding me? We separate sports by biological sex, by male and female, for a reason. So as a Democrat, as a liberal, leftist, right, I don't believe in that. I want trans people to have the same rights as I do. Same legal rights. The same rights as I do, I want you to have those rights. But I don't have a right to participate in women's sports. I don't. I'm a guy. Okay? I don't have a right to do that. I'm a man. I'll play against other men. That's it. It's simple. It really is. And what I will say to the Republicans' credit is that liberals really got lost in that. They got so focused on these issues that they pissed off like half the country, and then the moderates are like, well, I don't really think that's okay. Wouldn't want my daughter playing up against a really strong boy that could potentially hurt her. Pete Buttigieg recently said something similar to that, and like liberals went fucking crazy. They canceled him for that. Seriously? This is why I will say that Democrats will keep losing elections because they care, because the vocal ones care way too much about shit that doesn't fucking matter. The trans sports thing is like, it's a really, really small percentage of what's actually happening to trans people. Okay? But that being said, I think trans people should have the same rights as I do. It's common sense. I love my trans friends, okay? Do your thing. Have the same rights as I do. You just cannot compete in women's sports. You just cannot. If you're a trans woman, you cannot compete in competitive women's sports, high school, collegiate, when there's scholarships, when there's records, when there's safety online, all that stuff. All that should be separate, okay? We separate men for a reason. Well, we should all separate trans women, okay? No amount of hormones or surgery can undo a distinct, like, biological and physiological advantage at like the DNA level. That's not how science works. It's not how science works.
Inciting violence. I mean, I think the right shares some blame in that too. I don't think the right is completely without blame for speaking poorly of the other side. Like, I mean, Donald Trump is certainly not the the idol or the model of manners, or not being.
Manners are different from labeling your opposition as fascist who won't relinquish the reins of power. Ergo, you need a violent.
Trump literally just said he hates all of his enemies. He hates all people who disagree with him. Trump. I'm sorry, but we should be able to expect better from the president. Hating his political enemies. He was kidding. He wasn't kidding. Come on. Charlie Kirk actually, I will say, he did preach that. Like liking your enemies. Being able to break bread with him, sit at the same table as him, have common ground. I just think the rest of the people don't believe in that. I'm starting to think that Charlie Kirk genuinely believed in common ground. I don't think these other people do. Honestly, the more that I watch Steven Crowder lie through his fucking teeth, the more I realize that I don't think they care about that. What did Trump say? Yeah, at least Erica Kirk forgave him. Yeah, 1 minute he called him a radicalized cold-blooded monster. The death that radical left lunatics, his phrase, were actually responsible for the Justice Department would round up those complicit. Hey, no offense, DOJ, go fuck yourself. Okay, go fuck yourselves. What the fuck does anyone else have to do with Charlie Kirk's death? There was one shooter, one person, right? You got him. It's over. You won. You got him. I'm glad you got him. Put him in jail. Fuck that guy, right? Fuck that clown. But radical left lunatics, who else was involved? No one was. Are you crazy? Go fuck yourselves. Justice Department, stand up to Trump. Have some fucking balls. Seriously. For once in your goddamn careers, have some fucking balls. There was one shooter, and you guys got him. It's over. You have avenged Charlie Kirk's death, and I'm happy, as a citizen that does appreciate what the law enforcement system does right, I'm happy you got him. I want him done. Put him in jail. Trial, jail. Find him guilty, lock him up. The system that we all believe in, I want it to work. Yeah, Charlie Kirk he acknowledged that Kirk wouldn't agree with him. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagree with Charlie. I hate my opponent. I don't want the best for them. Like, seriously, is this what you guys want? You want to know who hated his opponent? Hitler. Fascists hate their opponents. They want them dead. They want them gone. They want them rounded up. You cannot say you're American and agree with ICE rounding people up without due process, without warrants. You can't say that you love Christ and are a follower of Jesus and believe in God when you hate people. I don't hate anyone. I don't like a lot of people, sure. I don't hate them. Even Trump. I don't want Trump dead. I don't hate him. I just think he's a loser. I want him ousted from the presidency. I want the Democrats to come in 2028. He can't run again, obviously. But I want that whole party to be done for at least 4 to 8 years. That's all I want. That's what I believe in. That's what being American is about. The democratic process. But you are not a Christian, and I repeat, Christians, because I know more about your religion than you do. Put my fucking money where my mouth is. You cannot be a Christian, call yourself a follower of Christ, if you hate people, if hate comes from your lips. What else is this? Yeah, who cares? Yeah, radical left political violence. What about when Melissa Hortman was murdered? Like, I can keep saying this, I'll keep repeating myself. Uh-oh. Let's go back to our history. Fuck yeah. All right.
A violent revolution.
But here's my point.
Yeah.
My point is, yes, some Democratic leaders have said things, have called other people fascists, have called them racist. Some people on the right as well have said things about members on the left. You know, I've called them communists, I've called them socialists, similar type of rhetoric. And I don't think it's similar. I don't think it's right to blame the leaders for violent acts that a small minority of extreme supporters commit. I don't think that means the entire party is violent. I don't think that means that the leadership is violent. I think there are some.
Just because we have the majority of mass shootings and mass violence and political assassinations come from the right, and this numbers don't prove it. I've already proven it in my last 2 videos. I don't think you're all responsible for that. It's not your party's fault, but there is a temperature issue and a rhetoric issue coming from your side. Clearly, there is a small group of people who are very, very violent who believe in your ideals. That's not our fault. You guys got to deal with that and fix that. Damn, this guy's making. Oh shit! Damn, this guy's getting no good points, and I'm gonna have to finish it in like a couple minutes. But all right, I'm just texting my wife right now.
Simply a small group of extremes. And is it? I agree with you. Is it? Are we seeing it more from the left than from the right? I think we are. I think if I were to do some research, I'm sure I would be able to find some acts of political violence.
Absolutely.
From the right.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
But
okay, Crowder. Right now, the research all shows that the right far right extremism is responsible for most of the political violence in this country. Okay. He's like, of course, I'm not going to disagree. Of course, there's some from the right. You couldn't even acknowledge, Crowder. Oh, I'm not going to disagree with that. Of course, you're right. You can't even acknowledge that Melissa Hortman's was a far right extremist shooter, an assassin. It was motivated by far right ideologies. You can't even admit that. All right, you know what? We're gonna cut it here because this guy's pissing me off. I'm sorry. He says one decent thing and then he tries to be charitable and then he gives Crowder credit he doesn't deserve and he agrees with points that aren't even real or based on reality. Anyway. This is I'm putting a pin in it. I'm done with this series. I tried getting through the whole video, but I can't because this guy is such a liar and he's so not charitable. He doesn't live in reality. Crowder, like I said in my last video, I hereby cancel you. You're finished. You're a loser. You're a court jester. You don't believe in actual facts. You don't believe in reality. You cherry pick. You misrepresent your own stats, and you expect people to agree with you. And maybe the problem is some of the left. Maybe people like this young man here aren't man enough or strong enough to not be steamrolled. Well, I'll tell you what, that's not me. Mark my words, I will go on one of these people's shows. If this channel takes off, I will go on there and I will kick ass and I will not be steamrolled. Mark my words. All right, guys, see you later. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. See you guys in the next video. Bye.